Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Frog in my throat. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Righteous Force, 10th Man, Chocolate Sane, who else we got? Mind Warped, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hey.
Morning.
Thanks for the nod, Nathan. I appreciate it.
Did I miss you, Paul? I'm really sorry. Not intentional.
Your volume's down, Mind Warp.
Come again?
Mind Warp
how's
is trying to say. Yeah, it's much better.
Cool.
Well, good to have you all. I'm going to do a quick plug. So I've got a playlist that I've made. And it was at request, so hence me plugging it, because I assumed people would be all keen and it would get bazillion views. Not that it hasn't done okay, but nevertheless, there's a playlist for each of the housekeeping questions. It's the first playlist on the list when you go into Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. So check it out, share it. It's very digestible, short, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 minute clips per housekeeping question. And then there's a couple of 15-minute-ish, maybe 10-minute debates where there's a couple of specific housekeeping questions covered. So it's a good playlist to share, or some of the individual videos if you want something to open a conversation about something regarding housekeeping. So we're going to go through it now after welcoming Arwin. So hello, Arwin.
Hello.
Hello. Also a plug for tomorrow's Ballbusters. So be here or be sphere. And it's 1 PM Central, 2 PM Eastern, 7 PM UK on the Quantum Eraser channel. So we'll be covering the top 3. There is obviously overlap between the housekeeping questions and the top 3 Ballbusters, which will be on, as I say, Quantum Eraser channel, 1 PM Central, 2 PM Eastern, and 7 PM UK time. That's Saturday. So be here or be sphere. Should we go on with a bit of housekeeping?
Yeah.
Any evidence of a physical Earth curve edge, formerly known as Earth curve?
Not from my front door.
Yeah, they needed to be there in order to bring up the excuse that there must be satellites in outer space. How crazy is that? Because if there wasn't any curvature in between because of a geometrical sphere edge, then radio towers would just be able to do almost anything except get in between mountains. And they don't like that idea because they like to imagine there's satellites up there floating, doing all that work for them. Sorry.
Yeah, right on.
In other words, no.
Yeah. Like
there,
that.
yeah. Talking of
Gotcha.
presuppositional orbits, any evidence of gravity?
Well, whatever gravity is, there certainly doesn't seem to be a point where this effect, which could definitely be considered caused by relative density, stops at any point. There's no evidence for this whatsoever.
There's no gravitas for gravity.
Very funny.
Any evidence of axial rotation?
Not of the Earth-based variety.
Well, if there was actual rotation, then the evidence would be so abundant, we would not even consider there not to be any.
Yeah, I agree with that. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
No, not the distance.
It's over there.
I was just waiting for that. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
There's hypothesis, but not viable.
They're working on it. They're just never really getting there.
They don't follow the method properly, is what I'm saying.
I got you. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, since there's no evidence for a presupposed spherical Earth since R died, no.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
No.
I have a gas pressure story if you want to hear it.
Ah, hey Brian. Yeah, I'll have a good gas pressure story.
Hey, how are things?
Very well.
I made a video there a couple of years ago, and I did. I admittedly the video is wrong. The stuff in it is wrong, and I leave it up there for the exact scenario that I'm going to tell you about. Stuff in it about gas pressure and different things. Now I say it's wrong. There's just a couple of small terms that are wrong. Like I state unequivocally that you cannot have gas pressure without a container and things like that. But Blue Marble Science, for some reason, latched on to this video. Now, why he ended up on my channel, because I'm not really a YouTuber, and found this video, I don't know. But he decided he was going to make a video about it. And I told him, well, I know the video is wrong. And it's an old video, and I leave it up there for the exact scenario for someone like him to come in and have a go. And I asked him, I said, why don't you debate me? And he says he will. So he's debating me on Wednesday on Jose's, because he won't debate me anywhere else. But he made a video and he sent over loads of trolls over to my channel to this video to go on and give me a hard time about all the things that are wrong in the video. Now I didn't watch his video, but my video is wrong. There's things in it that are wrong, but there's things in it that aren't wrong, right? Right, but they're wrong to them because they don't agree with them, things like that. But some of the terms I use and stuff were not 100% correct. But there's three funny things. One is that the trolls that are coming over to my video and my channel are actually getting stuff wrong while they're trying to troll me on a wrong video. Right? That's the first part. The second part is the person who made the video has two videos claiming to show gas pressure without a container, which is an absolute impossibility. And the third funny thing is there's a thing in that, a concept in the video, there's only a stupid concept that I was wrong about, that the ballers are trolling about, that is actually part of their rhetoric. So that's my gas pressure story.
Okay, so
can I ask which part is that? Would that be the last part you just spoke about?
Yeah, that's what
I talk.
I
talk. Sorry, you're going to say something, Nathan?
No, I was just going to say that's exactly what I was going to ask. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, it's just I put to give an explanation as to how this is a couple of years ago because I didn't know at the time, to give an explanation, just a concept of how the gas stays down and doesn't rise up, right? Because there was all those questions about how what was the questions you used to ask, like even though we're enclosed, they were all asking loads of stupid questions a couple of years ago about how does the gas not go straight up though? How does it not equalize and all this kind of stuff? And I gave the explanation of, well, the weight of the gas itself would and all the water vapor that would be coming back down and stuff like that. This is what I was angling at the time, would hold it down. Now it was a wrong concept, right? It was just a concept, and I stated it just a concept, not as a fact or anything, just as a concept. It was a wrong concept. But that's the very thing that they're trying to assert, that the weight of the atmosphere is holding it down. You know what I mean?
So they're making fun of you for saying the weight of the atmosphere will hold it down.
Yeah.
But yet now that's what they're saying. is holding it down.
Yeah, but they're making fun of me for that. And another thing.
That's
You know,
Of course they are.
Woo!
so
That's great.
yeah, and the guy who made the video about me has 2 videos stating that you can have gas pressure without a container. So, that's my story.
Very interesting. I'm gonna remember that next time somebody comes in here. Is we ask them how do we still have this gas? And the gas has weight. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Any Globers in here want to tell us how we have gas? And anyone?
If not, it's the last housekeeping question anyway.
Yeah, and about gas having weight, right? It technically does, but yeah, that doesn't mean it's not being subjected to relative density and not the conceptual approach of gravity where everything's supposedly pulled to the earth. So, like, the argument that gas has weight holds no weight, ironically.
Yeah, because you can't weigh it. You can only calculate an amount and calculate a weight off of that amount. How are you supposed to weigh something that doesn't have a linear downward force?
You could technically weigh it in a natural setup, like in a vacuum chamber, when it in a hard balloon or anything. But the argument in itself holds no weight because effectively out in the open, which is nature, the realm, our container, it's subjected to relative density. So the relative density will make lighter gas simply go up and heavier gas go down. So it's not relevant. Gas having weight is just not relevant to the argument.
And how do you weigh a gas?
You'd need a container.
Oh,
You put it in a balloon. Yeah, you put it in a container, that's right.
you got to put it in something? Okay. That's interesting, being that they're saying the gas is not in something, but yet still has weight. That's cute.
Well, technically, it could still have weight, but there's no way to measure that unless you contain it. Ironically. But the whole thing is a red herring. Gas having weight is not an argument to anything.
Go on, Neil.
It doesn't have gravity.
Well interrupted.
Yeah, I was just saying, when I'm doing air conditioning with my brother, we weigh the gas. We have to have an empty container first. We put that in a scale, and then when we fill it up, we know how much is in there by subtracting what the container was. But yes, you need a container.
Okay. Gotcha. Need a container in order to weigh the gas. Copy that.
Yeah, Adam.
Good morning. Are we in the middle of housekeeping? Sorry.
No, we're done with housekeeping.
Oh, I'm so elated to tell you guys that we have our actually, no, it's not our very first. I don't want to disrespect other people who hold on.
I'm holding.
He's got a better mic.
Yeah, I was going to say I had to turn it down.
Thank you. And now I have my family screaming in the background. But, oh, God.
Well, you don't need a mic for that.
I'm so much better for you.
I'm going to say it quickly. We now officially have our mainstream flat earth music freaking video. It is fully full-fledged flat earth, up and down, by a well-known group, and the video gave me the chills. It's from Caravan Palace. It's called Moonshine. I suggest everyone look it up right now. Well, I mean, in the audience after the show.
Okay. Hold on. Give us the title and artist again.
The name of the group is called Caravan Palace, and the song is called Moonshine. The video just dropped, like I think yesterday. I've been sharing around the teaser, and in the teaser, it shows a guy sitting in front of his computer looking at flat Earth, and it pulls up the globe, and the globe starts to melt, and it's like under this illusion, the words illusion, and it's like a whole bunch of fake pop-up screens about flat Earth, and then the guy. Anyway, I don't want to give up too much of it, but you guys have to check it out. It is officially a mainstream attempt, and I don't know what that means.
Okay, does it play on MTV? Or can it only be found on YouTube? How mainstream is it?
I mean, it like I said, the last song that they did reached 51 million views. So, like I said, this is like this is not some side kind of, you know what I mean, group.
Have you got a link?
Okay, but that's not an answer to my question, though.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I mean,
that would be
what
that would be my gauge as well.
Yeah.
So if it's on MTV, that's like mainstream pop.
Well, yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. The problem for me is I don't watch MTV,
Neither do
so I don't gauge things from that perspective. I gauge it from how popular is it on YouTube. Okay, do I hear it in other places? And it is a popular group, so.
Well, while that might be good enough for you youngsters, me and Arwin are both pushing 40, and god damn it, we want it on MTV if it's going to be called popular.
I do not
share
the opinions with the show host in that case. But
Well, if it's not on American Bandstand, the boomer's not happy.
no.
Yeah,
You know it's
Casey
mainstream.
Kasem is going to be announcing that.
No, you know it's mainstream when it's going to be aired regularly on TMZ.
Look, let's just cut through the crap. Is it in the hit parade or not?
Soul Train.
The hit parade? What do you mean?
I love it. Clearly that just showed your age. No idea what the hit parade is. Great.
Neil, you gotta say Soul Train right. Come on, man.
Look, are there any
Yes.
regular radio channels? Are there regular radio channels that are going to air this so that people at work in big corporations are going to hear that level?
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. Okay. Now that's pricked my ears up. It'll play on the radio. Okay.
Yes, I meant to say yes. Because like I was trying to say before, the Caravan Palace is a well-known group. Like they what's the name of that? Okay, I don't know them, but I know they're a well-known group. My girl loves them, so this is how I know that this video came out, because my girl was like, don't freak out. I'm about to show you a video, and I know how you are with Flat Earth. Don't freak out. And she shows me the teaser, and I'm like, get the fuck out! Acting like a 9-year-old girl.
I have to say though, I'm sorry that it's not the
I would
first
suspect
mainstream Flat Earth
I'm gonna have
video.
a wide read.
The
Well, no,
first
there's
one was
B-
B.O.B.
I was going to say B.O.B., yeah. Yeah, B.O.B. beat them to it, but so what? It's cool, right?
But B.O.B. never really did a full video, with and I don't know how many songs he's done, but this is like a straight up dedication. Not only that, it was only released one day ago, and it has 287K views, 42K likes, 278 dislikes.
Well, at least the debut didn't fall flat.
Okay, right. I'm gonna put something out there,
found it
and I
on
just want to let's get each your opinions on this next idea. So, could it be a possibility for me? Might be 5 years ago now. First, come to the subject, and people were claiming that Flat Earth was a quote CIA psyop to muddy the waters of 9/11 truth. That was what was being punted around. Now, while I don't agree with any sort of notion that Bigfoot's here to muddy the waters of fluoride truth or whatever the hell your comparison is, I don't care. Sorry, chocolate, to throw you under the bus. Anyway, the idea that we could.
Okay.
Sorry, man. The idea
from
that
Bigfoot.
I wasn't trying to throw Bigfoot under the bloody bus either. It doesn't matter. It's
I
just.
know. I'm just trying to be annoying.
Ugh. Right. Given that we are to a certain extent, I don't feel, or I didn't feel until coronavirus came along. Like until that, I didn't actually feel like I was in any way suppressed. I do now, but I think that could just be the case across the whole of YouTube. So when I see other car YouTubers saying that they're feeling the pinch, even though they're making videos, I'm like, well, that's very interesting. Maybe I'm not alone in this. Maybe I'm just paranoid. But ultimately speaking, while I've had my trials and tribulations on YouTube, I've never particularly felt like they've tried to shut me down because I'm talking about the nature of reality and what I think is absolutely cast iron, can't be debunked, a lot of it validated by science. So based on that, I've not felt the suppression. But given that we are definitely in a lie system, we're not on a sphere, and that's definitely the religion of the Western world, the most predominant religion. Most people don't even realise they're in a religion. But why would it be the case that we would be in any way tolerated? And what I mean by that is to say, my question is, could it be the case that we are part of that mainstream machine? We're just another cog. Now, I'm not asking you to sort of speculate on what the purpose of why that might be, but just could that be the case? In other words, we're here with a purpose. Flat Earth's got its place in the big scheme of their plans, if there is a they, and they have plans. Do you see what I'm going with?
Well, yes, I'd like to respond to that. I have my theories about that as well. By basically allowing a heavy truth element into the system and allowing engagement to that in a certain controlled fashion, I think they probably figured out that by doing that, they can prevent the rise up of like very serious opposition from people that are not being helped in any way with their needs, with their spiritual truth needs, that would become much more devious, much more hostile and aggressive to take over. And by basically giving it some hand, there's less hostility because of that. There's suspicion and people are like, yeah, I got my eye on you, but they're not like secretly planning some kind of terror shit. See? I think that is probably the long-term reason why they allowed this to happen like that. Because it was going to be one way or the other. Does
Sure.
it make
I
any
mean,
sense?
the flow of the information's certainly been stemmed. While I say I don't feel like I've been suppressed, it's certainly been the case that towards the beginning of my time on YouTube talking about this subject, we were given free rein to just reach anybody who, with the algorithm allowing a YouTube channel to grow as it would naturally grow. And with a fledgling subject, that was great. But very quickly, it was the case that, your Simon Dans and your Professor Daves and your Dr. Beckys go right up the list. Even Engineering Explained, will go farther up the list for a flat Earth search now, including, NBC, CBS, BBC, all the rest of them, Vice. So you've got all of these different alternative non-flat Earth, anti-flat Earth, if you will, that come to the top of the list, which is suppressing the information to stem the flow. So is it the case that we're just being kept in a holding pool? In other words, just let them thrash around over there, and that generally won't affect the majority of people. Is that maybe the case? Is that what you're driving at, Arwin?
Yes, but also to still give some breathing room for those that kind of fall outside of the general system. The oppositional defined disorder people, the truth at heart that just can't let it go and all that, If there was nothing like this, if there was no place where this kind of truth would reign, then they would be even further imprisoned, even further pushed, stressed out, and that could lead to more dangerous situations. That was my angle to it.
Okay.
I just put that Caravan Palace video on and watched it. That guy was just mentioning that's fully a flat Earth video. It's quite good.
Can I have
Excellent.
Nathan's response?
Oh, sorry.
It's just there isn't one, Arwin. It's purely speculation, and I'm glad of your opinion. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else got an opinion on this? Are we part of the system?
I think as the more we talk about this and the bigger it gets, the more part of the system we become. I don't think it was meant to be a part of the system, like we're literally against the quote unquote system. But
Right.
becoming more mainstream is, I think, just getting this topic more familiar into the mainstream mind. And
Well,
I
it
think that's
definitely
why
is.
they
Like,
fight
if
so hard to stop this, because just getting people, like, we obviously know there are certain people that will never ever, no matter how much evidence you can throw in their face or their entire experience living on a flat stationary plane, they'll never accept that, right? But then there are people who just thinking about it will give them that opening to come into it. Just giving themselves the permission to think about their world in a different way will allow them to eventually, maybe not at first, they might, reject it and fight against it, but that's, natural reaction. But I think at some point, people will open up to this and it will become a lot more mainstream.
this
Case
video
of,
that that guy just talked
I
about is
agree.
definitely going to bring some people, because I just watched it. It's really cool. It's Caravan Palace, and the song's called Moonshine, what that guy was just talking about.
Yeah,
They've
that's
got
nice.
1.3 million subscribers, and yeah, one day I can play. If I played it and with no sound, would you get a strike or?
Probably.
Yes, absolutely we
Okay.
would. Yeah, and we
Alright.
were in the middle of a conversation, so
That's okay.
I agree. Chocolate pointed out a detail that I didn't
Hang on a
mention.
second.
What I
That's pretty
mentioned
rude,
about
man.
was the
It
early.
fully was.
Dude,
It was completely relevant. It was. You were talking about going mainstream, and this is a perfect example of that.
yeah, to be fair, Owen, the video, that video did start this conversation.
true.
But it's,
Yeah,
But I had a good
pretty
point
rude,
to
man.
make, because
I'm back.
what I
I'm
described
listening,
was kind of the onset. It's the startup position. Like, we got to give them some kind of room, or they'll be more hazardous, and it will have more backlash. That was the beginning of it. That's probably the reason they even allowed the flat Earth to break through on YouTube, in a limited fashion. But yeah, it seems like it has caught on, and there's a sliding scale, and it's sliding up into the mainstream indeed, and it's gradually, slowly happening. I
Okay,
didn't mention that part yet. But,
fine. That's where
Chocolate
I
addressed
can
it.
lead on from, Armin. So you say catching on. Given that we understand here the level of control the media that the media is under, then why would you be in under any other impression than what is being allowed out is very much being allowed out under strict control? Because everything that's let out in the media is under strict control. Now, in terms of what you actually face as an individual, in other words, your appreciation as an individual, not your realization through YouTube, but just you as an individual looking out your window or looking at something with a camera, that's you, and you're responsible for your own reality. However, the reality of the masses is governed by our governors, the government, and what they think and feel is very much dictated to them through the mainstream media channels, in the most part, or at least they're softened up to whatever they're going to be told they're going to be doing when they're being governed by the mainstream media. So they're softened up to changes in their laws and things like that. We're just talking normies here. So given that that is the case, surely we can't not be, if we're reaching mainstream audiences. If Mark Sargent's on national British TV talking to millions of people live about this subject, well, at some level, somebody has said yes to that. And, if it wasn't tolerable, then it wouldn't be tolerated. But it certainly seems to be tolerated. And I'm not saying we're being promoted, far from it. The flow is being stemmed, but a flow there is, and that suggests to me that a flow is being allowed. They could just dam it up if they wanted to, if that makes sense in the analogy.
It's a useful tool for them if it's nefarious based, because they can identify with their mass surveillance system who is behind flat Earth and support flat Earth arguments like our show and our chat room and everything else. So it's good for identification of those pesky freedom lovers.
Oh, right. That's an interesting spin. In other words, you're saying that people who recognise the nature of their reality, chances are going to be a little bit more or a little bit less compliant when it comes to certain government controls. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, I mean, just about everything that they are doing, that other topics, which I don't need to bring because this flat earth talk right now, we have views on those. And so when I talk to normies, they're mainstream all the way. They think I'm crazy. They think this thing that no, something even other than flat earth. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're a flat earther. You're really crazy. And now you bring this other thing here. And so we're breaking through the veneer of the lies because the whole system has to lie to have control over the sheep. And we're sheep with eyes open. We're going to our fellow sheep with eyes closed and telling them, look at here. Here's the proof. And they're just brainwashed. And so now if they use how do they know who I am unless I have a forum to go on and talk? And then when I go on the forum to talk, now they know who I am. Okay, we're going to mark him. Just watch him closely.
Okay, I mean, I fit between two different thoughts in that regard. So again, a couple of years ago, there were certain things that Jaronism was doing on his channel that were having what seemed to me like a direct impact on things that you could access or rhetoric that was going out to the public. Things were changing, and it seemed to be, or at least it seemed to me to be, a direct effect of what Jaron was talking about. He'd talk about something and then it would change the following day, and you're like, that can't be coincidence. And then a couple of times it happened to us, so you think, well, somebody somewhere must be watching you closely, whoever that somebody is, and whatever their reason in this instance is only qualifiable by the thing that you can look at, use, talk to an audience about, come back to the following day and see it's completely changed and go, you know, you get a string of those coincidences and start thinking, yeah, maybe they are keeping a close eye on us. And if we are a cog in a wheel, you know, there's got to be a certain amount of grease added to it every so often. It's got to be maintained, you know, someone's got to keep an eye on it, basically. So are we just that?
Well, they can't stop the natural nature of every human being wanting to have adventure and to be curious, but they need to control it. So by allowing it, they know who we are, and they minimize it by labeling us all conspirators, conspiracy theorists, and they've made that word bad, but they're the one, CIA is the one who invented that word based on a few videos I've seen. So it doesn't matter where it comes from. It's the way that the general public looks at a flat earther. I mean, I've seen it. I've talked to people. They can't answer one of our housekeeping questions, but they'll make fun of me. But they look the fool.
Perfect example for that.
My opinion would be that
this morning
Hold on, Brian.
I went on to. I'm sorry.
This
morning I went on to some stream where these guys were streaming a train, just just going along the train track somewhere in Europe or something like that. And it's just a straight line with train traveling across the tracks. And I went in there and I said, "Hey, anybody have any idea where the curvature will kick in in this video?" And I got timed out immediately. Like nobody responded, nobody said anything. The guy just timed me out immediately. So I waited a little bit. The second question I asked was, I just asked where the curve is, guys. Timed out again. I waited a little bit. I type again. I said, all I was trying to point out was this is a lot of level ground for what's supposed to be a ball, and then I got banned. And the guy says to me, I'm banning you for being one of those flat earthers," which just made me
How
laugh
dare you?
because it's just funny. But it's like that's the type of thing. It's like you're watching. You guys are all sitting in here. It's like 130 people in the chat. You guys are all sitting here watching this train just go from station to station. No curvature, no nothing. And all I asked was where would that kick in, and I got banned. It's just for being one of those flat earthers, So it's like there's still kind of that stigma of, oh, you're one of those people that just think that you live on a flat plane, but meanwhile I just can't ask about the curvature that you believe in. That's a problem. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that was funny.
And in the end times, many shall be offended.
Exactly.
They were just afraid you were going to derail their video, Chocolate.
I was waiting. I should have known.
You were way off track on that one, man.
King
Way
of
off
Punt.
track.
So, are you guys familiar with 1984?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the scene where he's being tortured and his torturer explains to him that the mathematics of the stars could be near or far?
I remember you sharing that one time. I can't remember it, but when you shared it, it made sense.
So, in summary, he basically is describing a global heliocentric world with the stars that are very distant. And the torturer explains that it's not beyond the mathematicians to have a dual system of astronomy. They can be close if they want them to be close. They can be far if they want them to be far. The stars, that is. Now, obviously, as a flat earther, that strikes a chord with me, but the reason I led to this point... I'll shout out. Just give me a second to shout this super chat. I'll read it off the iPad rather than struggling on my big screen. Please check your Discord messages from me. God Scalpel, thank you very much for the super chat. I don't know how to do that. So, I know how to get into the live stream. That's about it. But thank you. I'll see if I can figure that out. The reason I was leading up to this question was to say that only purely based on that one little entry from 1984, that hint is enough for me to ask this question. Could it be the case that what is currently ridiculed and downplayed, potentially censored, or as I was describing it, having the flow stemmed, well, could it be the case that that eventually becomes widely accepted as obvious by most people? Could we have a paradigm change? That's my question.
I think so.
Yeah, that was kind of where my comment was going to go to.
In what direction are you saying the paradigm will change?
I'm saying that could it be the case that let's give it a reasonably short time frame. So let's say 10 years. That 10 years from now, what are we in now? 2030, you've got people saying, yeah, well, of course it's flat. Yeah, I realise people used to think that it was a ball. That's just silly, though. It's obviously flat. We always knew that. We always knew that. Everybody always knew that.
Yeah, my comment was along those lines. What I was going to say is that technically, without sounding conspiratorial or anything, technically we are the new world order. Because we are the new world that a lot of people keep talking about. I hear people speak about, like people like over the years, like years ago, David Wilcox and all these kind of conspiracy people talking about there's a new world coming. And it's going to be difficult, but we'll get through it. But then they're the exact people who will go against this type of thing. But what's going to happen, I think, is what you're just saying there, Nathan, is that it's just going to be things that bit by bit people are just going to accept it. Because it's going to come out bit by bit. And people are going to be saying in 10 years' time, yeah, it's totally flat.
Well, I didn't think...
it could go another direction, though. I mean, that's one direction, perhaps. Or it could go the other direction. I mean, why do you think all the conditioning for aliens is? Well, how if they go to the direction of aliens and propping that up through technology, or in my case, I believe they're going to be demons anyway. Then is flat Earth really the issue, or is it, hey, there's aliens? Well, if there's aliens, then there must be outer space, because obviously aliens wouldn't be part of flat Earth.
Not at all. No, there are certainly people with various different models that are certain
Give me your best, Loogie.
That are certain infinite plane, and I had it on screen earlier with the Kobayashi model with all the different ponds on the perimeter of...
Yeah.
Well, that idea would give you perfectly feasible aliens. They're just not up. They're out towards the horizon. They're out rather than up. On the other Terra, given that we're on terra firma and we have other what are already deemed as illegal aliens, i.e. people from another land, well, that transposition isn't hard to process cognitively if you think about those further aliens being beyond what you can see on screen now. Further out, there's other lands, and they have got people that we've never encountered. Had you never encountered a Chinese person, and then suddenly the lands were opened up for us to see that land, and then you encounter Chinese people, you'd be like, well, these are alien people to me. Now, could it be that there's another, I don't know, what colour haven't we had so far? Indigo coloured, blueberry coloured people somewhere out in a different land, and we're like, wow, we never thought we'd come across a nation of blue people, but they just look basically like us, but with bluish skin. Why not? Well, they'd be aliens, wouldn't they? But they haven't come from the sky, just from other land, other terra.
Yeah, it could go that way too. It's just the whole point of what is the purpose of keeping us in the dark in the first place? What is behind the lie initially, or the lies?
Oh, control.
And then,
that's an easy question.
Yes.
It's always about control, power, control. Some people say money.
Yes.
Some people say that's meaningless and an irrelevant part of the equation. And in many ways, I agree with them. But yeah, certainly power, control over people.
Right. So as long as they have control, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, right on. Well, I'm saying in other words, the globe is seated in that control structure, and the start of this question was just us being a cog, but ultimately, if that cog turns into a giant wheel that happens to be a new face of a different religious belief based in another reified model that just happens to be flat. It's still a model, it's still reified, you've still got, some sort of bloody sun worship going on for the sake of argument. In other words, there's all sorts of aspects of heliocentricity and its religious elements weaved into one aspect of our reality. Flat Earth is just an aspect. There really isn't a great deal to the fact that it's flat. It's just an aspect. Literally, in geographical or topographical terms, that's one aspect to our world. But to take that and make a model out of it, make a religion out of it, that wouldn't be too difficult. So suddenly we get caught up in just because it's flat, there's all these other bullshit that might get strapped onto it as part of another control structure. And obviously we've got no say in that. It's whoever's the powers that should not be in that regard.
Well, aren't we watching a display of that now with the current situation in certain terms and ways and things that are being said and done?
You mean in terms of the COVID 1984 muscle flex? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing people who are experts lie, and numbers and stats being stacked up, told to say, make sure you put this on the death certificate. And you've got this coming from everywhere. And so it's like, my goodness, it's right here in front of me. They're doing it with this. They did the same thing with the nature of the earth with this, and all the other 9/11 and all the other things. They're doing it again.
Yeah.
And so the masses are just following.
Yeah. What does that tell you? So you recognise it. You've seen it. It's not been shoved under your nose, but it's obviously come across your path because of the nature of who you are and how you are, and you're saying that's why they want to keep us logged, as you described in your answer. Well, the general normies aren't doing that, are they? They're not doing what you've done. They're not in any way recognising it. You might have what are called or deemed conspiracy theorists screaming at them until they're blue in the face with the statistics written on chalkboards. But, those people's label gets attributed in the mainstream. If you can find anything on the protests that are currently going on in regards to COVID, they're just deemed conspiracy theorists. It's just the same old stuff.
What you guys are talking about is actually happening here in Australia at the moment. Our Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, they've developed an app, right? And they're going to make it, if we want to get out of our lockdown.
Oh, CIA have got him.
Yeah, he'll come back, finish it off. Yeah, that's...
and then what it'll do, everyone, for it to work, everyone has to have it on their phone, and it logs if you come near someone, and if they get COVID-19, then it like works out who they were near and can backtrack it, and he's going to make that compulsory. But they won't tell us how much data it collects about us. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
So you can just say control then.
Yeah, pretty much. So it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's pretty much just they're going to put some kind of app on your phone that's going to track you, and then they'll loosen the grip they have on us.
Not once they have it.
No, and this is not a lie. This was on the news tonight. He's saying, if you want us
right.
if you want to get back to normal quickly, we're gonna get this app, and if we make it mandatory, anyone with a phone has to get it. So if that happens, I'm getting rid of my phone. Not because I've got anything to hide, but because I just think it's a load of rubbish.
You've got to be careful with your phraseology. It's not that it's not a lie. This is a mainstream report.
Yes. Well, and it was announced by our Prime Minister as well.
Yeah, this is an accurate... You are informing us accurately of the reported information.
Yes.
Yes. Just to be clear.
Yes, I am. It's happening. It's happening, and they actually had the data analysis come on, saying he needs to be more clear about what data this collects and stuff like that, because there could be serious breaches of privacy and stuff like that. So people are concerned.
That's good.
As they should be.
Yeah, I was going to say, as it should be.
You've got a director of WHO saying that because everyone is forced into their homes, that now they're going to have to go into each home and check, because it's probably being passed around there. So this is part of their whole plan. They're going to say, if you're asymptomatic, we have the right to check you, put a swab in your mouth and put something in your nose, collect your DNA, tag you, basically.
Well, they're making it
right?
that the asymptomatic person is the most dangerous one. Or if you're not sick and you don't have any symptoms, you're the worst out of all of them. You're the one making everyone sick. So that's like anyone, really. So everyone's confined to their homes.
It's the perfect tool for the global elites to use to gain control of the whole world, is to use a virus.
Exactly.
It's not them. They're going to hide behind a virus that doesn't work the way they say. And if you don't have it, you have it.
Governments will never let a good catastrophe go to waste to implement more restrictive rules on people.
Well,
Cuomo
in New York said Cuomo said that he's going to keep the lockdown in New York for 12 months. You might as well kiss New York goodbye if that happens. All right. Well, it won't happen because people will hit the streets before that. Just like we're seeing people hit the streets now, which is exactly what they want. People hitting the streets so they could do their medical martial law.
You're not.
I think there are cities in the U.S. where they are hitting the streets.
Hold on. I heard Neil first. Go ahead, Neil.
I said they ain't keeping me in my house for 12 months. They're out of their freaking minds.
I've just posted in the side chat here, Nathan, the ABC link about the app if you wanted to share it. So just to show you just how Orwellian Australia's become.
No, it won't let me. Not from my country.
Yeah. Well, it was just on the news how Trump's plan to reopen America goes as follows in certain phases. So the gyms will be open, stuff like that. Phase 1. You know what? I forgot what would be phase 2 and phase 3 because I can't find the pop up. But it was like it was on the news somewhere.
This is a direct result of the world, especially. Sorry. This is a direct result of the world, especially the medical practitioners of the world, and the government, political people of the world who aren't involved in any big scam. This is a direct result of them and the world in general, not demanding evidence of this supposed new virus. This is what this is about. People did not demand evidence. They just went along, and now they're going to be in a situation where it's been used as an app on your phone in Australia against you. This supposed thing that there hasn't been proof that it wasn't around last year and the year before that and so on. It's just the same thing that they're making something out of. They haven't proven that it's not, and that it is a new thing. All they've proven is that they have a new reaction to it. That's the only proof. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it is a new thing, but there isn't proof that I have seen that it is. And this is why we're in the position we're in, because people were just too lazy to actually go and want to find out. The WHO said X, and everyone else went, okay, Y, and that's it. Every medical practitioner says, yeah, you can definitely trust them because they always, are right and they always have our best interests at heart. This is it. This is what we're dealing with. Every doctor, every scientist that went along with them, every political person that went along.
Can you guys see my screen at all?
Yeah, I've been
sharing.
presenting
I'm
it.
not sure.
Yeah, I've had it up while Brian was talking.
Yeah, basically, so that's our Prime Minister there. Are you sharing my screen? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. So, coronavirus lockdowns could end in months if Australians are willing to have their movements monitored. So basically, it's an app. They're saying they're going to have it ready in 2 weeks, and they need at least 40% of the population to go on. They're saying at the moment it's opt-in only and not mandatory, but that's being changed. The last statement I heard was that it's they're going to think about making it mandatory. And it says here, it is understood the app would plot who had spent 15 minutes or more in close proximity with a person who proves to be COVID-19 positive. So
whoever they
crazy.
want.
It's it's pretty scary, really.
I'm just going to do a couple of quick super chat shout outs. So MC Universe Sacred Truth Keeper says the one is a remainder of what is otherwise a symphony of mathematical precision. Oh, it's a quote from The Matrix. The one is a reminder of what is otherwise a symphony of mathematical... Jesus Christ. Try that again. The one is a reminder of what is otherwise a symphony of mathematical precision, but it is not beyond our measure of control. Blah, blah, blah. The architect, from Matrix 2. Right on. Also a shout out to, if I can find it, give me 1 second. Eric McKinney says, all who didn't trusted the media or government before COVID-19, why do so many trust them now and ridicule and disparage those who have questions? ?
Well, we've always been ridiculed for asking questions, haven't we? Because we've all been made to look. Oh man, is that a troll in Discord or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone that asks questions, we're automatically labelled a tin-foil hat-wearing weirdo. But I'm kind of. I know coronavirus is bad, but the positive that comes out of this is it's opening up people's eyes to what's really going on.
This is why we need
Elijah.
Me to be a mod or something. Yeah.
Sorry?
You just had a whole bunch of music playing while you were talking. Somebody.
Yeah, I had to close the line. I've sorted him out now. I've moved him.
Yeah, I was just saying, like COVID-19, even though it's bad, it's kind of paving the way for people to actually see what's really going on behind the scenes. Like we all kind of know what's going on. We have a general gist of things, but most people don't. They just got their blinkers on. But this is kind of opening the eyes of many people. So that's one of the good things to come out of this.
But the problem is, there's a lot of people on the conspiracy side who come up with some kind of logic, but then come up with a lot of nonsense to go with it, or they come up with something that ends up not being substantiated, and they end up looking bad. So people have more trust in better the devil you know kind of thing.
Exactly. There are those in the conspiracy theory movement that do ruin it for some because they just act completely mental. But all in all, we're just like free thinkers, we think outside the box. Like when things don't add up, we question things, whereas most people don't. They just go along their ordinary day and ignore everything.
David Icke is very relevant at the moment because this is kind of what he's been talking about for a long time. But even that David Icke is pushing the 5G thing. So
David Icke,
if it's proven, so even though David Icke, I think he's a brilliant speaker. I mean, he's very confident. He's very good at getting his message across. But the problem is he's pushing the 5G thing, And he's not a flat earther either, but I not hold that against him, but he's pushing the 5G thing. And if it's absolutely proven that 5G has nothing to do with it, even if 5G was dangerous or not, it was proven that 5G had nothing to do with it, right? And I don't believe 5G is what's
say for
dangerous, like they say. It's gonna. I'm just gonna say it's gonna look bad for him, no matter what he was saying. Then it disparages it. Go on, sorry.
I think that while we're in lockdown, 5G is going in, and it could be one of two things. It could be because a lot of people will try and stop it. So while everyone's in lockdown, they're going to try and bring it out quickly, or it's linked somehow. Because I went to the shops, because at the moment, like if you want to go and do shopping, only one person can go out for your family, and our local shop, the rooftop car park's been closed for about 2 months. And I just drove to the shops last week. There are no towers on the top of this shopping center, and it's a massive shopping center. And I went there, and there's at least 10 of these new 5G towers on there. It's mental how quickly they went up. Yeah, so I don't know. There is something going on. Like, and there's even people in my area saying, in the middle of the night, they don't even hear anything. They wake up the next day and there's a 5G box on the line. It's like, well, it's a bit weird. And then down the road from me, we had a whole lot of vans parked, and they were parked there for ages. And I just went on my bike and I was going for a ride. And I just said to them, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Because they just looked a bit sus. They'd been sitting there for a while, and they had their tablet out, and they were looking. They said they were looking at maps to lay out new fiber optic lines. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? And they didn't answer me. But the only reason they'd be doing that is if they're going to be putting 5G through, because you couldn't run the 5G on the copper line. You'd have to run fiber optic to it. So there's something going on. Definitely something going on.
There's a YouTube post I put on Master B, and this is an author of a book that he wants to get a second edition out. I don't know if you guys seen that, but it's called How to Be a Successful Tyrant. And he describes exactly what's happening today, a book that's 15 years old or so, how a virus will be used to gain control of the citizens. And so it's an interesting short I think it's a 2-minute video. So it's there on Master B if anyone wants to see it.
Is that the one you posted, used for all sorts of shenanigans, 2 to 3 minutes? Mark,
Yeah. Yesterday I posted it too.
Oh, sorry. I think I'm looking at the wrong one. I'll have to check it out.
I thought they already had control.
They do. They want more. Everything is more. They don't have enough money. They want more. They got control. They want more.
The restrictions that are in other countries like the UK and Australia and America, you're only allowed to go out to do this thing or that thing for this length of time, or one person can go shopping, all this kind of stuff. They tried that here in Ireland, but it's just not happening. People are going out. They're sticking to the rules up to a point, but nobody is following them rigidly. I mean, I'm certainly not. I'm sneaking past checkpoints to go off out to the countryside and to the beaches and stuff, and I don't care. And a lot of other people are too. And people are not sticking to the rigid. You have to stay in your house. You can only leave once a day. All this kind of nonsense. People just are not sticking to that. People are doing as much as they have to, but that's as much as they're going to do. And I think there must be a much bigger kind of a bigger heavy-handed police force in other countries, because I don't know, it's not happening. They're policing this, but only up to a point. Like, there's only so they just can't do it.
And with that, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980, this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. A massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels for making this live show possible. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!